Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips, which is brought to you by Wellness Forum Health, the Wellness Forum Institute, and Make Americans Free Again. Finally, it's here, our new bar. This is what it looks like. It is a nut and fruit crunch bar, contains things like oats and apricots and dates and cherries and wonderful seasonings like ground ginger. It has 220 calories. It's super filling. I wouldn't recommend it instead of lunch, but I'll tell you, I ate it for lunch a couple of times to see how long it would hold. And I was super impressed. It was a good couple, 3 hours before I got hungry again. We will be shipping it in boxes of 12 boxes like this. And the cost is $3 per bar. And I could not be happier with this. And I have to give a shout out to Joanna Osborne, the employee at Wellness Forum, who is responsible for the development, the packaging, and getting it to the place where it's delicious and we all love it. So you can start placing orders on a first come, first served basis. And you might want to talk to Kelly a little bit when you call in to order, because if you regularly use some of our other products, you can get free shipping and that sort of thing. So anyway, ready to go finally after all this time. We like to get things right, better to get it right before we jump the gun and go on ahead and offer them, right? So looking forward to your feedback on them. I'll show you what it looks like outside of the package like this. And I unwrap this one. I'm going to eat it as soon as I'm finished filming this video for you. All right, so a couple of other things. Make Americans Healthy Again Wellness Forum Style is happening in June, 10, 11, and 12 from 8 to 11 Eastern. Of course, we're going to record it. It's free, and we're going to talk about all of this controversy about dietary fat and cholesterol and health. Did any humans ever eat a paleo diet? DMSO, a miracle supplement, or is it snake oil? Thyroid health, overcoming resistance to habit change, a discussion about nutrition policy in America, why it matters to you, and something I do know a lot about. I've been involved in it for many, many years, and some guest speakers to be announced. So that's free. And don't forget our membership drive. Still on, and we're giving you an amount of money equal to the dues you pay as a credit to your account so that you can take other classes from us. And one of those other classes might be the research boot camp I've scheduled for July 18th and 19th, which will be a little bit different because we're actually going to do research together in the Zoom session, and the topics are going to come from you. All right. So, news item number one, Chat GPT and artificial intelligence and medical and health-related decision making. A lot of people are talking about it. Some people, disturbingly so, are relying on it. And so I'm going to relate to you one of the reasons why you want to be super, super cautious about this. So Cochrane collaboration researchers have been publishing analyses showing that seasonal flu vaccines are almost useless for decades. Tom Jefferson, one of the co-authors of some of these reviews, said this about the flu vaccine studies some time ago. Quote, the vast majority of the studies are deeply flawed. Rubbish is not a scientific term, but I think it's the term that applies. Recently, ChatGPT was asked by a couple of Cochrane authors about the efficacy of flu vaccines in the elderly. And the answer from ChatGPT included this statement, quote, another meta-analysis by Cochrane, a well-respected global organization for health research, found that flu vaccinations significantly reduced the risk of severe complications and death in elderly individuals. The review concluded that flu vaccines in elderly adults reduced hospitalizations by approximately 30% and reduced mortality from flu-related complications. But Jefferson, one of the authors of this particular review that ChatGPT was referencing, responds that this answer was incorrect. The review was quite critical of the existing evidence, stating that there was insufficient evidence to recommend the vaccine definitively for preventing hospitalizations or mortality in older adults. So, with that in mind, Jefferson and a colleague started questioning ChatGPT about its erroneous conclusion, and the system, ChatGPT, finally responded with this, quote, you're absolutely right to point out the Cochrane Review's conclusions. I made an error in referencing it, and I appreciate your diligence in catching that. Let me clarify with the correct information and provide a more accurate overview of the Cochrane findings and the broader evidence base regarding the flu vaccine in older adults. Here's the problem. In this case, the researchers asked a question that they knew the answer to, and they did this to assess the efficacy of artificial intelligence. They then challenged AI until convincing it to change its mind. So, what it appears is that AI has been programmed to deliver certain responses not via subjective analysis, but rather from a point of view. This should concern all of us as more and more people are relying on AI, including health professionals, unfortunately. So don't make this mistake. Learn to do your own research and don't count on ChatGPT. Here's another reason to learn to do your own research. The Department of Justice has just sent letters to at least 5 medical journals that we know about concerning journalistic integrity and bias. These include the New England Journal of Medicine, Chest, and Obstetrics and Gynecology. All are major journals. The letters ask the journals specifically to reply with how they handle misinformation, bias, and competing viewpoints. While there is a lot of outrage and hand-wringing in conventional medical circles, it's about time, is what I have to say about it. I've been warning our members for over a decade that most people, including health professionals, do not understand the business that the journals are really in. What people think the journals are doing is pinching peer-reviewed research, including clinical trials for drugs and vaccines, and then editorial content with letters and comments from experts about the articles they publish. Well, that was true about 30 years ago, but it isn't now. Today, many medical journals take in revenue from article reprints, a lot of revenue. For example, Merck purchased almost 1 million reprints of the results of the Vigor trial for Vioxx for $697,000. By the way, that trial erroneously showed that Vioxx was effective for relieving pain. It was taken off the market subsequently for not being such a great pain reliever and killing, according to an FDA official, about 128,000 people. And Merck knew it at the time. So fake news was what was published in that article. In 2005 and 2006, reprints were responsible for 41% of the Lancet's total income. According to a case control study that looked at reprint orders for 7 major journals, median reprint orders ranged from 3,000 to over 126,000 for a single article. Higher reprint orders were more likely to be for studies funded by drug companies, of course. So what are the drug companies doing with these reprints? And the supplement makers do the same thing. They give them to their sales reps to give to doctors and others to promote their products. Doctors rely on these studies, and so do a lot of consumers who are given reprints. Many are published in the best journals, and they rely on them for what supplements to take or how to treat patients. And many people doing their own research aren't aware of these conflicts of interest, which causes them to place more trust in journal articles than is deserved in many cases. This goes back a long time ago. Marcia Angel, who used to be the editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine, wrote many years ago, quote, "It is simply no longer possible to believe much of the clinical research that is published or to rely on the judgment of trusted physicians or authoritative medical guidelines. I take no pleasure in this conclusion, which I reached slowly and reluctantly over my 2 decades as editor of the New England Journal of Medicine." And I think she left that position in like 2005, and it's more true today than it was back then. In fact, Richard Horton, editor of The Lancet, agrees. He wrote this in 2015. "The case against science is straightforward. Much of the scientific literature, perhaps half, may simply be untrue. Afflicted by studies with small sample sizes, tiny effects, invalid exploratory analyses, and flagrant conflicts of interest, together with an obsession for pursuing fashionable trends of dubious importance, science has taken a turn toward darkness. Indeed, approximately 95% of what is published in medical journals is not reliable due to conflicts of interest and poor study design and even outright fraud. But up until now, the journals have done nothing to help to restore their own integrity. There's just too much money to be made to change course. Perhaps the government will make them do it through some type of action. But in the meantime, learn to do your own research. Learn how to see through which journal articles are reliable and which aren't, and how to cross-check and arrive at accurate conclusions. So my interactive research bootcamp, July 18th and 19th, will help a lot. It's a Friday, Saturday deal. One last thing I want to tell you about is new member workshops this summer. You have to be a member, but even basic members get to participate in these workshops. Ask the Doctors a family practice doctor and a retired pathologist, both of them retired actually, are going to answer questions that I'm going to ask and that our members can ask as well. And heart rhythms and regulation, the science behind heart-focused breathing. Breathing exercises and learning how to breathe properly has a lot to do with everything from blood pressure to overall well-being. One of our new faculty members is going to take you through that workshop. And then in August, we'll have one with autism basics. You can look at our online calendar at wellnessforumhealth.com for more details. So lots of information today. Learn to do your own research. That's the take-home message. Don't believe what you read and see. Cross-check, cross-check, cross-check. I do it. I assume everything I see for the first time is wrong. And a lot of times I prove that right by looking into it. Don't forget our new bars and think about becoming a member if you're not a member, and let us know, Pam Popper at wellnessforum.com, if you want to join us for that free boot camp coming up in June. We'd love to have you with us to learn how we take apart information and put together accurate stuff for our members and for the public. All right, that's it for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody else who you think would enjoy watching it and learning from me. And I will be back to you on Thursday with more news. Thank you so much for watching.